Hey guys, my name's Oscar Mikey, and today I want to talk a little bit about Battlefield 2042. First off, right off the bat, I want to apologize for my nasally voice. Coronavirus finally caught up with me. I've dodged it for 2 years, but it finally found me. So I've been homesick for the past couple of days, and I thought I'd use the time to make some new videos for you guys. There's been some improvements to 2042 since I stopped playing it. Patch 3.3, I believe, and 4.0 came out. 4.0 was a massive update. I'm not going to read through all the changes with you guys. There's a lot of bug fixes and stuff in there. Some class improvements. There's been some UI improvements, attachment improvements. Information is just more clear on the attachments, and you can better see how it's affecting your weapons and stuff. Character improvements, specialist improvements, all that kind of stuff. And I thought that maybe with all this stuff changed, the game will be in a better state and be more fun to play. So I decided to jump back in and see for myself how it's playing these days. And I have some interesting findings to share with you guys. So I first tried to jump into a 64-player version of Conquest. In my opinion, that's one of the better game modes to play in the game. I'm not personally a big fan of Breakthrough. I enjoy it sometimes, but I know I'm kind of in the minority when it comes to that. A lot of people love Breakthrough, but I'm kind of partial to Conquest. And the hilarious thing is I couldn't get into a game of 64-player Conquest. I was waiting in a lobby for 10 minutes. And that kind of struck me. I know that the player base has dropped off significantly, but I didn't think I would have any trouble finding a game of 64-player Conquest, since that game mode was pretty much universally praised when they put it in the game. But I couldn't find a game, so I went into 128-player Conquest, and I was able to find a game on Hourglass. I joined about halfway through. And I'm not going to read through the patch notes. I'm not going to go over statistics with you. I'm not doing that. I don't have a script for this video. I'm just kind of throwing verbal diarrhea at you guys. And I want to tell you my personal experience with the game. And playing it today for about an hour and a half, if you're like me and you're wondering if any of the recent changes to the game have made it better and more enjoyable to play, the sad truth is that if you've left 2042, these changes are not big enough to warrant you coming back to the game, because in my opinion it plays very similarly to how it did when it launched, and you're still playing the same maps with the same specialists, the same weapons, all that stuff. Not much has really changed. Most of the things they've changed have been bug fixes and UI improvements and like user experience changes and things like that, not really gameplay changes. Temporiel on Twitter is a data miner on Battlefield 2042. He digs into the game files and finds unreleased content and things like that. And he's found a lot of really cool stuff. There are some unreleased vehicles that might be coming to the game, some helicopters and some new map details and things like that. But even looking at all this stuff and thinking what all these unreleased things might bring to the game, it doesn't really get me excited about the future of 2042. It doesn't make me want to come back and play with all these new toys and maps and stuff. 2042's problem is much more deeply baked than that. It's the fundamental core gameplay and tone that they decided to go with for this game, and that can't be easily changed. I was thinking of making this video a day or two ago, and I decided to go on YouTube and look at the Fault Line gameplay trailer for Battlefield 3, because I wanted to just go back and see where we started back then when Battlefield 3 was, before it was even released. I wanted to see the tone and the direction, the art style of that game, and see how far we've progressed or how far we've come since then. And it's a stark difference. It's really shocking to me that DICE has come from this. I'm going to throw some footage up on screen for you guys right now, to where we are now with Battlefield 2042, this kind of pseudo large-scale kind of hero shooter, half Apex Legends, half Battlefield. And it just shows the massive disconnect that the developers have from the community these days. I think this started with Battlefield 5, really. That's when the kind of zany characters and over-the-top gameplay and tone kind of started to creep in. With the Pacific content for Battlefield 5, they kind of started to pull back on that and take steps in the right direction to make a proper Battlefield World War II game. But then that's where all the content stopped, and then they focused on Battlefield 2042, and this is what we got. The game of Conquest that I played on Hourglass felt really empty. There were players in there, but it wasn't a very fun match. There were only a couple of very focused kind of gunfights happening on a couple of control points. And everything else was just barren. All the space in between the objectives was completely wasted. There was nobody around, and it just felt very boring and lifeless. And I also played a game of Breakthrough on the defending team, and that just felt like kind of a giant clusterfuck. Everybody just sprinting towards one of a pair of objectives and just creating a massive mosh pit of chaos. That wasn't really fun to play or move around in. The whole experience was just kind of ick. It makes me really sad to watch that Fault Line gameplay trailer for Battlefield 3 and see how far we've come. It doesn't make sense to me how DICE thought that the same people who enjoyed that trailer and enjoyed Battlefield 3 would enjoy something like this. That's how I feel on one side, but on the other side, I do kind of understand their decision to go the direction that they did because hero shooters are incredibly popular these days, and it just seems like kind of a good business decision. I think they just did it with the wrong game. The people who play the Battlefield franchise and people who play Apex Legends are completely different, and they like completely different things from their games. And DICE just made the wrong call on this one. I still hope this game gets better. I hope that the new content that comes for this game eventually down the road will kind of revive it and maybe bring new life to it. I hope they're making revisions to their upcoming maps to make them play better than all the original ones. And until then, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Sorry to make this kind of a depressing video, but thank you for watching anyway. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, make sure you like it and subscribe for all my future content. Thanks again, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.